Hey, this is Ian. I'm the head pro at EssentialTennis.com, where it's our mission to bring passionate instruction to passionate tennis players just like you. Welcome to this special video called Serena Serve Secrets. We're going to be taking a look at a super slow motion example of Serena Williams' serve, and I'm going to be breaking down step by step the 6 things that you not only can copy but should be copying in her motion so that you can hit a more powerful, more effective serve. Not only am I about to show you step by step, but there's also a link to a free PDF download down below that's going to show you visually all of those steps, notes along with each one, so that you can download that, bring it to the courts, and help you improve your own serve. So let's go ahead and get right down to business here. Here we have Serena practicing at Cincinnati, and we're going to be looking at 6 main things that I believe are most important. And the first one is her ball toss. And I want you to notice in particular how her arm is straight as she begins her tossing motion with her non-dominant arm. And this is a big factor that a lot of amateur tennis players miss. Look at how smooth and calm that release is of the ball. I'll play through it one more time. What most amateur players are doing incorrectly is they're hinging. They have a hinge at the elbow, they have a hinge at the wrist, they have a hinge with their fingers, and there's all this flipping of the ball up into the air, which causes a great deal of inconsistency. Serena here shows us a perfect example of locking that arm out and then smoothly guiding the ball up with her shoulder instead of the smaller parts of her arm. So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to show you her setup with her body. The foundation of her trophy pose is a strong rotation of her body as a whole back to her right. I want you to look at her back, how it's partially angled towards the net, and her chest is angled back towards the back corner of the court. Now this is as opposed to most amateur tennis players who, if they're lucky, get sideways. They get perpendicular to the baseline. She's turning a full 45 degrees beyond that, and that big full turn of her core allows for a lot of forward momentum and strength and power to go through the point of contact and go into her follow-through, which we're going to be talking about in just a couple seconds. So this is a powerful, strong turn of her upper body and something that all players should be trying to emulate. Next up, I want to show you her racket drop, which is the dropping down of her racket head, which all high-level tennis players do. And what I want you to notice here is her forearm, how it's laid back and just about parallel to the court surface. Now, this is from laying her shoulder back. And this is really the foundation of a good solid racket drop, not bending at the elbow. There's a big myth and misconception that a good racket drop is done like this, by bending at the elbow and dropping the racket head down. It actually should be done by loading the shoulder back. That's what she's showing us here. Notice she's got about a 90-degree angle between her bicep and her forearm, and the racket's dropping back because her shoulder is laying back. So we have the tip of her racket right down at her upper leg, which is a big, huge range of motion, which allows her a long runway up towards contact, and therefore a lot of room to accelerate the racket and get a lot of racket head speed. All right, next up, I want you to show you as she starts to accelerate up towards the ball, I want you to notice this position here. We're just a split second, a couple thousandths of a second before contact, and look at where her strings are facing. Her strings are facing towards the camera, towards us, the viewer. Now her target is directly to the left of the angle that we're looking at her from, but her strings are facing towards us. And this is very significant because she's holding that position for as long as possible so that she can release it all at once through the point of contact and then out and around across her body. This is what's known as lagging the racket head. And all of this is building up energy so that she can release it all at once. Snapping the racket on a serve is not done by pushing the wrist forwards past neutral. There is wrist motion in a serve, but most of the snapping that's occurring is from unloading the forearm and the shoulder and unwinding up through contact. And she's going to be able to do that very powerfully because she's holding that lagged position till the last possible moment. Now, as we continue through past contact, we'll see now her strings are facing towards her target. Just a split second later, and that rotation of the racket face will continue through contact. This is called pronation. And yes, for those of you who have seen the couple videos out there, Serena Williams does fully pronate on her serves. I can do a whole nother video just on that topic, but here's a great example of that. And as she starts to follow through, I want you to notice where she's landing inside the court. She's a good 1.5 feet inside the baseline. This is something where most of you watching can improve on. Most amateur tennis players are lucky to get inside the baseline at all, much less really drive up into the point of contact and launch into the court. And this is really the result of doing a great job with her lower body, loading and then driving and launching up into the point of contact and then landing in balance into the court. Now, moving on from there, the last thing that we're going to look at, and my personal favorite element, is where her racket actually finishes. And that is all the way across her body on the left side of her body, which to me just shows a very long, loose, relaxed, flowing motion. Most amateur tennis players have quite a bit of tightness and tension as they follow through. And as a result, their racket, their swing is really kind of inhibited. It's held back. They don't have as long of a runway, as I was saying before, to be able to accelerate the racket. Now, of course, the ball's already gone. The ball's already off the strings well before this point. But this looseness and length really allows her to be able to fully let the racket accelerate through the point of contact and then across through to her follow-through position. When I'm teaching beginners how to serve for the first time, this is where I tell them to go to their dominant hand facing their opposite hip. So if you're righty, your right palm facing your left hip. So this is a great example of good length and kind of flow across her entire service motion. So these are the 6 areas that I believe are most foundational, most important, and things that you have to be doing if you want a powerful delivery like Serena. If you'd like a visual of this that you can take to the court, there's a link in the description down below going to a free PDF, and that's going to show you step by step in freeze frame all 6 of these positions along with notes and reminders so that you know exactly what to look for when you go out to the courts to practice. So click that, download it, it's absolutely free. If you've enjoyed this video, do me a favor and click like. Also leave any comments or questions that you may have in the section for that down below. With that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your attention. Take care and good luck with your tennis.